What is up, everybody? This is All Things Entertaining here, bringing you to the brand new video, and today we have Sam Pearson's Top 8 YCS Utrecht deck profile, and it's for Mekk-Knight Invoked, and it's kind of an interesting list, so let's just go right ahead into it. So, the first card we have here is triple Nibiru, 2 Mekk-Knight's Purple Nightfall, 1 Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse, 3 Gameciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju, 3 Fantastical, 2 Mekk-Knight Blue Sky, 3 Aliester the Invoker, and 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So what's really it's kind of just a streamlined version of what Mekk-Knights have been toying around with. I mean, I guess the ratios for Mekk-Knights in general are a little bit off, playing 2, 1, and 2. They're not playing like the yellow or the orange one, I think, that is the other one that they tend to play a lot. This one's more really focused on controlling your opponent through Nibiru, Phantazmay, getting of your opponent's cards with like Gameciel, just being able to routinely get out those cards, get out those Mekk-Knight monsters, and in a very quick fashion. So that's what Gameciel here is for as well. Mekk-Knight Invoked has been a deck that has been around for a long time. It hasn't really been meta as of recently, but it's been meta before, and I think we can actually start seeing this deck make a bit of a shakeup in the meta because of some new tools that it has at its disposal. So we're just going to move on to some of those tools as of right now. So we got 3 Instant Fusion, 3 Lightning Storm, 2 Pot of Desires, 2 Mind Control, 1 Terraforming, 3 Invocation, 3 Book of Eclipse, and 3 Magical Meltdown. Now, pretty much your standard stuff: Magical Meltdown and Invocation at 3. And Magical Meltdown to search your Invocation or your Aleister, excuse me. Book of Eclipse is kind of interesting as a sort of attack here. It's really good against a lot of the decks that are going on right now. It's really good disruptor for your opponent if your opponent forces you to go first. You can stop them midway through their combo before they even make their Ling monsters, and then pretty much their turn is over from there, for the most part. Mind Control, just a good way to get some pesky stuff out of the way. Also, if you summon your Mekk-Knights in the same column as the monster you have with the Mind Control, even better. Instant Fusion, because you're playing a lot of good Instant Fusion targets like Caliga, Raidjin, and both the Eyes Restrict monsters here. Terraforming to search out the Mekk-Knight to the Magical Meltdown, and we're seeing Lightning Storm as this is a going second deck. It makes perfect sense for it to fit into a deck like this, especially when they have stuff like Altergeist running around. And need be, if worst case scenario, if they have really nothing you have to really be concerned about, you could just set this to summon one of your Blue Skies or your Purple Nightfalls or Indigo even. So definitely an interesting take on the thing. They're also not playing the Skill Drain for the deck. They're also not playing anything like Impermanence. We actually haven't seen Impermanence all that much in the past couple of weeks. It's kind of been falling out of favor for other cards like Evenly Matched, which this deck actually isn't playing Evenly Matched, but in the side deck. So that's also an interesting thing to note. Moving on to the extra deck, we have 2 Invoked Mechaba, 1 Invoked Purgatrio, 1 Invoked Raidjin, 1 Invoked Caliga, 1 Millennium-Eyes Restrict, 1 Thousand-Eyes Restrict, 1 Borrelsword Dragon, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Aliester the Invoker of Magnus, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Secure Gardna, 1 Gravity Controller, and 1 Salamangreat Almiraj. So, we've seen kind of this stuff replicated before in stuff like Shaddolls, but instead of playing like Winda and your Shaddolls stuff, you're playing the Millennium-Eyes and the Thousand-Eyes. Millennium-Eyes is really good because it just easily wins against your opponent's hand traps, especially if you're going to start off with Instant Fusion plus Magical Meltdown. Really good to search it out. Also good to stop your opponent from Aleister or taking your Aleister. It also gives you access to Caliga. You activate Instant Fusion, special summon this card. You normal summon your Aleister. Your opponent attempts to Ash Blossom it. You just take the Ash Blossom with Millennium-Eyes Restrict. Then you activate Invocation, making Caliga on turn 1. That's not how you're going to want to end the board on. Obviously, you're going to want to make something like Aleister. You're going to make an Invoker Magnus or Cross Sheep to capitalize more on that. But that's basically the basic, the basic concept of what you're trying to do with Millennium-Eyes Restrict. So definitely good. Also, it fuels your graveyard for stuff like Purgatrio or Raidjin if they're playing like Droll and Blackbird. So it's really good. It's really good for that sort of scenario. Also good for those who are playing Ghost Stoker or light-based hand traps. So on to the side deck, we have the 3 DD Crow, 3 Droll and Blackbird, 2 Call by the Grave, 3 Forbidden Chalice, 3 Twin Twister, and 1 Red Reboot. The only trap in this entire deck is Red Reboot. Twin Twister, really good for those pesky back row decks. If you're running into Altergeist, if you're running into Subterras, it's really good to out that card. Forbidden Chalice, really interesting tech here. It's one of those text cards that people should often be aware that exists, because having the ability to, sure, your opponent, the monster that you're going to be targeting gains 400 attack, but you're going to be using this as sort of like a negate of some sorts to prevent your opponent from activating any monster effects with that card. So it's really good that way. It's also good if you just want to get over cards too. So it's definitely good, especially consider the fact like if you're playing with like Gameciel or like Nibiru. Nibiru is not going to be needing its effect anytime soon. So you just make it gain 400 attack and boom, it can pretty much go over anything. But it has 3,000 attack, so Phantazmay can be used with it, since it is a little weaker on that front. Good for stuff like your blue skies and your purple nightfalls to get over certain cards. It's also good for your like Raidjins to get over cards as well. And Purgatrio also very good for that sort of thing, but you're going to want to attack with everything with this card first as well. So yeah, that's all that I have to say about the deck list. Is actually very interesting. I like it a lot. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Tell me what you guys think about this deck as well. Also, the deck list will be in the description if you want to copy paste it to your dueling book or YGO Pro. Anyway, this has been All Things Entertaining, signing off.